Hello, and welcome to our channel. In our videos, we share amazing stories from people who have had near-death experiences and other spiritual meetings. Today, we're going to look at the story of Juan Suarez, who says he talked to a spiritual council and was told that a big conflict was coming. Before getting started, make sure to add your name and city in the comments for good luck and love. With that said, let's look at Juan's interesting statement.
The events in my story happened in 2022. Because of a history of heart disease in my family, I was regularly monitored by doctors and had set up a schedule of regular checkups. By April of that year, I was getting more and more tired and sick. Because of this, I started cutting the time between my meetings shorter. During the pandemic, it was very important to stay away from hospitals because the risks of going outside were still not well known. I didn't have any tests for almost 30 days after the end of May, when I started to feel a little better. On June 25th, I went back to my normal schedule. As I got ready for work by getting up, eating food, and turning on my computer, I felt lucky to be able to work from home. But I started to feel some pain in my arm and neck, which made me a little worried. Even though this happened, I kept working on my tasks because I had a lot to do. By lunchtime, the pain was still there, so I called my daughter to let her know what was wrong. Right away, she offered to pick me up and take me to the hospital. I made lunch while I waited for her to arrive. After about 15 minutes, I felt my heart beating strangely while I was in the kitchen. I also had shortness of breath and a sharp pain. I knelt down and fell to the ground. Luckily, my daughter, who lived nearby, came quickly after. When she found me not answering the doorbell, she used her extra key to get in. When she found me on the kitchen floor, she called an ambulance right away. When the paramedics came, I was still awake, but I soon lost consciousness as they started to examine me. I found out later that they did CPR on me and took me to the emergency room of the hospital. I was really upset, in a lot of pain, and having trouble breathing until I finally lost consciousness again. As soon as I lost awareness, I felt like I was no longer connected to my body. The terrible pain went away, and in its place was a strong feeling of calm and peace. As I watched the doctors work to revive me in the kitchen, I felt detached from what was going on. Nothing about my body felt like it was a part of me anymore. It looked strange, like a dead rubber doll. It felt like I had taken off a heavy mask, revealing my real, natural self. Things around me were brighter than usual. I looked behind me and saw a bright spot of light. I turned to find out where it came from. I was shocked to see a round portal shining softly in the room. This opening was letting a soft light into the hospital room. It was like I couldn't stay away from it. I had to find out what was beyond it. The view from the other side got better as I got closer. I saw a scene that took my breath away. A dream beach with green, clear water and pure white sand. There were happy people all over the beach, and you could feel their peace and happiness. Some of them looked at me and waved for me to cross over to the other side. Fear of never coming back remained in the back of my mind, but the comfort and happiness I felt overpowered my doubt. There was no more question in my mind. I walked through the portal. The feeling of well-being grew greatly when they got to the other side. I was surrounded by an unimaginable love that filled my whole being. It was like everyone there loved me no matter what. People around me wore plain white clothes like pants and t-shirts. There were a lot of them, but only 3 came up to me directly. Even though I felt connected to everyone, these 3 seemed especially chosen to welcome me. They gave me a warm welcome, and one of them told me I had crossed a fine line. He told me I had a cardiac arrest, but promised me I would be okay when I got back. I asked what this place was like because I was interested. He said it was an in-between world, a place where people who haven't fully left their bodies on Earth can go. Everything about this place was clearer and more real than anywhere else on Earth. Even though I was very clear, I asked if it was real. He confirmed that it was a reality that was made to fit my appearance. I said I wanted to learn more because I felt like I belonged so much. I thought to myself that if this area between worlds was already so amazing, the place we'll go after we die must be even more amazing. They told me it wasn't my time, even though I told them I would love to stay. Staying would mess up a lot of people's lives on Earth. It interested me that they knew exactly when it was my turn. I learned that it looks like there is a plan in place. I said I didn't want to go back to Earth because our mental awareness is clouded and we can't see what's coming. He replied that we might not be able to see the future clearly, but we can get a good idea of what it will be like by watching what we do now. This rule doesn't just apply to one person, it applies to all people. Then he offered to show me something and let me see into the future. We walked over to a round white building right next to the lovely beach. As I walked in, I saw a spotlessly clean room with only a round white table and 12 people sitting down. They greeted me kindly like they were looking forward to seeing us. On the wall, a screen showed pictures of what would happen on Earth in the future. I saw the outbreak getting under control, but there was still a lot of sadness for the people who had died. Then the picture changed to two countries at war with each other. At first, it looked like a small disagreement, but when a third country got involved, it made things worse, involving other countries and eventually causing a world war. The sight was very scary and made me feel a lot of different things. They talked about how not everything that seems real is actually real. Behind the scenes of this coming fight, there was a lot of media manipulation. They said the world would finally find peace when I asked if they were sure of it, but they also said that such a big conflict seemed almost inevitable. They told me that every road leads to peace in the end, but the length of the journey depends on what we choose. The scene then moved faster, and I caught a glimpse of a future where towns had changed, becoming lush with greenery and having buildings that fit in perfectly with nature. I felt the same peace that I had felt among the people on the beach now seemed to cover the whole world. There was no more pain, hunger, or unfair treatment of people. This world is possible, but it takes collective awareness and organization to make it happen, one of the beings told me. Real spirituality needs to reach the minds of leaders and people in power. It will be important to work together, and this change is going to happen anyway. These words made me feel better, and I felt like I had a part to play in making this dream come true. One of them said that my body was ready for me to come back. I felt like I was being pulled suddenly, and when I opened my eyes, I was back in the hospital room. The doctors told me that I was truly dead, but they were able to bring me back to life. This event had a huge effect on me, making my health problems seem small in comparison. I wasn't scared of the risks in life anymore. It took me a few days to think about everything I had learned. When I got home, I started to get ready on the inside because I knew I had to help make the world a better place for everyone.